Of disgraced and demoted Justice Department official Bruce Orr in connection with the discredited and phony Trump dossier. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge has the details.
David, two sources with direct knowledge of the matter tell Fox News that Justice Department official Bruce Orr kept his then colleague Andrew Weissman, who is now a top Robert Mueller deputy, in the loop about the controversial anti-Trump dossier and the individuals behind it. During his closed-door deposition earlier this week, the sources said Orr told investigators the contact with Weissman and senior FBI officials occurred before and after the 2016 presidential election. Orr confirmed a half-dozen FBI and Justice Department officials knew about his back-channel contacts with Steele, which included providing parts of the dossier. In his nearly 3 decades of government service, Orr told investigators he had never handled evidence this way before. And the broad circle of contacts indicates senior FBI leadership, Weissman and at least 2 other senior Justice Department officials knew about Orr's back channel to Steele and the dossier. At the time, Weissman ran the criminal fraud division. On the FBI side, Orr's contact included former FBI agent Peter Strzok, who ran the Russia probe and was recently fired over his anti-Trump texts, among other issues. His former lover, FBI lawyer Lisa Page, who also left the bureau. Former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, who was fired over allegations he lied to federal agents, as well as a more junior and current FBI agent who worked the Russia case with Strzok. Republicans in the House want the president to declassify FBI records about Orr and the surveillance warrant for Trump campaign aid. Last night, the president said the FBI and Justice Department need to do more.
What's happening is a disgrace. And at some point, I wanted to stay out, but at some point, if it doesn't straighten out properly, I want them to do their job. I will get involved, and I'll get in there if I have to. Disgraceful.
House Democrats say the focus on Orr, a career civil servant whose portfolio did not include Russia, is being mischaracterized by Republicans, and his outreach on behalf of Steele was not prohibited or unlawful, David.
Catherine Herridge, thank you very much. Joining me now is Greg Jarrett, Fox Business legal analyst and author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, The Russia Hoax, the illicit scheme to clear Hillary Clinton and frame Donald Trump. People can't get enough. I'm surprised it's still in print. This must be like the 10th printing or
They're
something.
doing a second printing right now.
All right, good for you. All right, Bruce Orr. Yeah, a lot of us suspected when he was going to be speaking in those closed-door hearings, about which we're hearing more now, thanks to some sources inside there, that we weren't going to hear much. He's telling us a lot, particularly about Andrew Weissman, who is now a member of the Mueller team.
That's right. He, in fact, is the lead attorney on the Mueller special counsel probe. His tentacles are on every aspect of that case, which means the entire case has been corrupted and tainted by his actions, because Weissman was in on the Russia hoax, using false intelligence, a phony document, to try to frame Donald Trump. He knew, and the FBI and the DOJ knew, that the document was inherently suspect because they never verified it or corroborated. They knew that Christopher Steele, who composed it, was not credible and, in fact, had been fired for lying. And they also knew, according to Bruce Orr, that Orr's wife had worked on the dossier, and they were both getting paid for peddling this document, which, by the way, is 3 different felonies.
Well, if you're honest about that, apparently the one thing that Bruce Orr was honest about was informing the people at the FBI and the other people that indeed his wife was working for Fusion GPS. Should they not have been aware of the political orientation of that organization?
Oh, it should have been a red flag, a big red flag. They should have, therefore, severed all contact with Christopher Steele, taken his dossier and thrown it in the garbage. The reason that Bruce Orr is now squealing is because he's in legal jeopardy. He never disclosed the income his wife was getting as required by federal regulations. And that's filing a false government report, which is a crime.
All right, let's talk about Mueller, because he did dismiss at least from his team, Peter Strzok. He was still working for the FBI when it was discovered, all those messages with his lover was discovered, how vehemently anti-Trump he was, and how he had this insurance policy, et cetera. isn't it incumbent upon Mueller at this point to dismiss Weissman, knowing what we now know?
Absolutely. That would be the right and ethical and legal thing to do, because the presence of Weissman for all these months has, as I say, corrupted and tainted all of the evidence. Under the exclusionary rule, under normal circumstances, none of it could be used. He should fire Weissman, and he should terminate his own special counsel probe.
Do you think he will?
No, he won't do it. He is bound and determined to go after Trump, I believe, in retribution for the firing of his longtime friend, partner, and ally, James Comey. And so this is a man who's taken justice out of the system of justice.
Now, the more we understand about what the Trump dossier was about Chris Steele's relationship with not just Fusion GPS, but with the individuals in the Justice Department, in the FBI, probably in the CIA too. For all we know, Brennan was in on this as well.
He was the instigator. He was peddling to the media along with Clapper, as well as members of Congress.
So we know now in detail how partisan this whole process was. Shouldn't the FISA court, which is under control, as I understand it, of the Supreme Court, should they not now take some action? Because clearly they were duped into allowing a warrant to be used to spy on Americans based on a piece of material that was just pure partisan trash.
And documents revealed today, they never even held a hearing. They approved all these FISA warrants to spy on the Trump campaign based on written paper submissions by the FBI and the Department of Justice, which means they never posed any questions. They never said, well, what about this footnote number 8? What does this mean that some of the material came from a political party? It was Hillary Clinton. Had they done their proper job and asked discerning, proper questions, they would have gotten to the bottom of it, and they would have rejected the wiretap warrant.
Shouldn't the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court take actions on his own to try to straighten things out in the FISA courts, because they still have the power to spy on Americans?
He appointed all 11 members of the FISC, the FISA court, and he is in charge of them. He should direct Rosemary Collier, the presiding judge, to hold a hearing, a show cause hearing, why people shouldn't be held in contempt. Haul the Department of Justice, the FBI in front of them, and have them explain themselves. And if they don't to the satisfaction of the court, if the court believes there was a fraud on the court, and surely there was here, then they should make a criminal referral to the Department of Justice against the DOJ officials and the FBI.
Haven't we now had enough evidence that the Mueller investigation is corrupted by individuals that have a clear conflict of interest, if not actually going the distance to breaking the law in order to pursue their personal political interests?
The law enforcers became the law breakers. We trust people in our law enforcement agencies, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and all of the others to uphold the law. They were breaking the law with impunity here for political purposes.
But the Mueller investigation itself seems to be just completely filled with individuals that are part of this.
Yes. Mueller sabotaged the integrity and credibility of his own investigation by hiring a team of partisan and ignoring his own multiple conflicts of interest, which, as I explain in the book, are mandatory disqualification. He didn't have a choice. The wording is, you shall recuse yourself. He didn't do it. Neither did Rosenstein. They, too, have corrupted their own investigation.
Greg mentioned the book. This is the book. Look for this book on Amazon. If they have it in stock, let's hope that they do, because he's got more to sell.
Or bookstores.
Okay.
You get it in bookstores nationwide.
Greg, great to see you. Have a good holiday.